it.
It's just taken a really ugly, nasty turn in the MVP conversation. And I think it's really turned a lot of people off, including him. What happens in today's society is that everybody, it's like when I was a college coach, all the negative recruiting, it's not promoting my guy, it's ripping down every other guy. And that's just ridiculous. This game is, as Adam Silver told us at the All-Star break, the game is in a great spot. The league's in a great spot. We have great players. Celebrate them. Don't criticize. Don't tear them down. Build them all up. And whoever wins it, good for them. And that's one thing that's been really disappointing this year with the whole MVP conversation and all the hot takes. It's really just gotten ugly and nasty.
Well said, Mike Malone, at least in my opinion. Shannon, what do you think, though? Do you agree or disagree with Malone?
Well, Skip, unfortunately, that's what you do, Skip. I mean, you got to nitpick, and you have to say things that, oh, this guy. And me, I look at it like, Skip, and I said this before. We've talked about this. We've been going at this now for a couple of years now about Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. And I said, Jokic was
like 3 years because Jokic's won it 2 in a row.
Exactly. And I said, Skip, for me right now, Jokic is the MVP. But in the last 2 to 3 weeks, Skip, Joel Embiid has overtaken him because he's played better. He's played better and his team has won. Now, I don't get in all of this where the voters favor this guy because he's this or they favor that guy. But I think the thing is that I don't really have to sell either player. Their play sell them. But, Skip, that's just the way it is. Remember, we talked about it, was it yesterday, a couple of days ago, is that Mario Chalmers said Jordan, people feared Jordan, but he used that to try to tear down and criticize LeBron. Oh, Jordan's the GOAT. If you want to say Jordan's the GOAT, Jordan's the GOAT. Man, look at all them scoring titles. Look at all them MVPs, finals MVPs, the game-winning shot, the Gatorade and the Nike, and just be like Mike. Okay, fine. But I don't really think that people have been so negative. Now, Joel Embiid's going to have tonight. It's going to be funny. Because Joel Embiid said the media doesn't like him. Now, the very same media that's probably going to vote him the MVP, but the media doesn't like him. Players fall into that trap also by saying outlandish things. And you got to realize now, I understand they're supposed to be impartial, but there's a human element to this. You criticize me constantly, and then you supposed to expect me to get my vote.
Huh?
That what you thinking?
Huh?
So I understand what Mike Malone is saying, but unfortunately, that's what we have to do, Skip. And he's right. You know, I got great facilities, but let me tell you about how bad the facilities are at the place that you're thinking about going. It's not just good enough to tell you what
college recruiting.
That's in a nutshell, Skip.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about how good Joel Embiid. Just tell me, okay, what about Joel? What about Joe? Man, you see, he's leading the league in scoring. He brought his team from 4th all the way to 2nd.
Yep.
You see the dominant performance that he's had over the last 3 weeks. And Skip, it wasn't like the thing was like, oh, it was done. It wasn't. But here's a guy that's going unnoticed because we keep going back and forth talking about Jokic and Joel Embiid. Giannis Antetokounmpo is just laying in the weeds, Skip. Because here it is now, Skip, they got the best record in the NBA. He's averaging almost 32 points and 12 rebounds a game.
Okay.
But I understand what Malone is saying. And but that's just the way it is, Skip. If I got to highlight something, it's kind of like, Skip, every year we say, well, who should be in the Pro Bowl? Well, if we put somebody else in, don't we got to take somebody out? So if I say Jokic is the MVP, don't I got to tell you why Joel Embiid isn't?
Unfortunately, I completely disagree with Jen and with you because I got no time for, I got no use for, I got no sympathy for any part of what Mike Malone said. His guy has won back-to-back MVPs and well could win a third.
Right.
The better narrative, the better storybook story is he wins 3 in a row.
Right.
No one's ever done that before.
3 times.
3 times. It'd be
Russell,
but,
Wilt, and Bird.
okay.
Bird's the last one,
Bird's the last
85,
one, but it's been, that was 80.
86 was the last time.
Okay, so what are we, so that's 14.
Almost 40 years.
Okay, almost 40 years. So it's been almost 40 years. My point is, what are you complaining for?
I want my guy to win it, Skip. That's what I'm complaining for.
This is what we do, and it's what everybody does. It's what fans do at the water cooler every morning. you're an Embiid guy and you're a Joker guy.
Right.
And you go back and forth and you say, well, wait a second. As I do here, I'm trying to win the argument with Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
I've been an Embiid guy. I've hung in there with him. I'm sticking by him. I realize what the negatives are. We did George Karl the other day. I wanted to do it because I wanted to address a guy I know very well, because Embiid has taken hits over the years for bad body language, taking plays off. It's what we do, and that's the truth. He has done that in the past. I don't see it this year.
Thank you.
Okay? Joker, he is not a dominant defender. Never has been, and I don't think he ever will be. He's not bad, but he's not great. That's not the strength of his game. If we're going to go head-to-head on Embiid versus Joker, I am going to bring that up because it's God's truth.
Yes. It's not like you're lying.
Once upon a time, not too long ago, in a game in Philadelphia, this season, would you believe that Joker and Embiid went head-to-head, and Embiid destroyed him?
He did.
Embiid, it was 48 points to 24 points. Okay, I can't make it up because it happened.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring it up to Shannon Sharp every time we do this debate because it's a big point in my favor. Monday night at Denver, we're going to have big do bet on this game and big takeaways because it will matter. It will influence voters. They may be right on the fence because I do think the voters by and large like Joker a little more than they like Embiid because they have soured in the past on his poutiness and he's always upset, as George Karl said. He always gets angry about things we can't understand, okay? I get that. All right, I'm going to be, just for the sake of Mike Malone, I'm going to be incredibly harshly objective because I did not like what happened last night to my guy Joel Embiid. They're at Chicago, and it's a little bit of a grudge game because they had just lost 2 nights before to Chicago on Philly's home floor in double overtime with Dr. J in the house and a lot of the 1983 championship greats in the house to honor the great Bobby Jones. Okay, so what? James Harden stunk in that game. I didn't think Joel stunk in that game, but you made the point. He didn't score that. He scored 4 in the fourth and then 2 in each of the overtimes. And then he fouled out. Grudge match. Right back on Chicago's home court. And my team, my Sixers, come out and just say, watch this. Guess who didn't play last night? James Harden did not play. And it's 17-0, and it's 21-1. And yet, I'm trying to watch 3 games at once because I got John, I got Luka going, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm not completely locked in, especially when it got to 21-1. My mind is wandering back to the other games. But the point was, I did not notice what happened late in the first quarter. I'll show you this in just a second. But at halftime, they come out of halftime, and Joel didn't come back out. And I'm like, what? The halftime score was 76-48. A member of the Sixers traveling party, some PR person or official or somebody, tells their network, the Sixers network, the 2 broadcasters, tells them that it's not an injury situation. It was because of score differential. He did not come back out of the locker room. I got a problem with that.
He's in the MVP battle.
You're in the MVP battle. Okay, if you don't want to play in the second half, at least come out and sit on the bench for your team's sake. At least be with them and be there in the timeouts and at least give your backup a little advice here and there or whatever you want to do. Just participate. Did you leave and go to the club, or I don't know where you went to go eat?
Hold on, we just saw somebody come from 29 down. We saw somebody come from 28 down and 27. The Lakers came back from 27 down. So it's not out of the realm of possibility because they came back from these scores in the third quarter.
Okay, I got it. But then Doc Rivers, post-game, brings up the fact that Joel tweaked his right calf. Well, you know and I know, once your calf goes, it is a...
Well, Karl Anthony Towns just got back, and he was out since, September, October?
It's the B word, if I could throw that out there, because that's what it becomes. Doc said after the game it's very mild, but that it was a factor. They expect Joel to play Friday night at Golden State, and then I'm expecting, Monday night at Denver. Okay, if we could see what happened late in the first quarter, Joel had already scored 12 in this game at this point. This is a couple of minutes left in the first quarter. He's walking off, and he does grab his right calf. Is it crampy, or is it starting to pull? It was a mild strain, according to Doc, and he called it very mild. Okay? So is it just precautionary that you say, okay, I got it? So why wouldn't the Sixers representative just say he's got a calf strain? And everybody's like, Okay. Is it a good thing? No, it's not a good thing because if you do care about the MVP, and Joel, I think, does care about it, but he's saying all the right things. He said, all I really care about is this postseason.
And the thing is, Skip, look, two players are going to be very extremely disappointed because they're going to have very compelling cases in order to win this award. Jordan went through this. LeBron has gone through this.
Has he?
All the greats have gone through it. I mean, and you know, Wilt got 4, but come on, look what he did in the 60s.
Yeah.
But you had Russell right there along with him. So there have been times where other great players felt they should have won MVPs, but they didn't. So two players, Giannis and Jokic, all three of these guys, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, and Joel Embiid, have very compelling cases to win the MVP.
And for a while, Jason Tatum had one. And Luka was the preseason favorite.
Right. So somebody's going to be disappointed. But that's what, in order to build, Skip, it's kind of like building houses, Skip. They ain't making any more land, so I got to take some land from somewhere. So I got to build on marshland, or I got to go further into the woods, and so somebody getting infringed upon. So to make my case, I got to build it as big as I can. So I got to infringe on Joel Embiid. I got to infringe on Giannis.
Well, you do. Look, these players make $40-odd million a year to take the nitpicking negativity.
He made 50. He got the biggest contract so far, Nikola Jokic, over $50 million a year.
All right. That's what you're paid to do. It's life. It's just it's what feeds the beast.
Yeah, they're not kids. Now I can see if Skip is kids.
Okay, all right.
They grown men. Come on now, they can handle it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I got to say.
Only a handful of games left.